And tonight on the Daily Wrap, 4 Marines dead after Kuwaiti-born man thought to be living in Arizona opens fire on 2 military facilities in Chattanooga, Tennessee this morning. Congressman Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee will be in studio to respond. Donald Trump causing trouble for his fellow GOP candidates trying to make it to the debates. And President Obama setting a record as he visits a prison. This is a Daily Wrap, live from New York City. And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Joe Concha, joined by my co-host Rick Unger. Sad day, Rick. And
you know, we always begin this by kidding around. Yeah. Who feels like kidding on a terrible day like this?
Absolutely.
You know?
And as we talked about before, perhaps, unfortunately, I hate to say it, the new normal.
Well, I hope not.
I hope not, too.
It sure seems to be happening a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And joining us also, Congressman Marsha Blackburn, here in studio. Thanks for joining us, particularly today. We appreciate you sharing your sentiment and your thoughts on what happened in your home state of Tennessee today. And finally, to Ms. Blackburn's right is Blaze TV news anchor and former speechwriter for the Senate Majority Leader, Bill Frist. It's Amy Holmes. Okay, everybody, let's get right to the Daily Download. And of course, we're talking Chattanooga, Tennessee today. 4 Marines dead, 1 wounded. He's expected to be okay, shot in the leg, but he's already been released from the hospital. The shooter also dead as well. We're learning facts as they come in, which are coming in by the minute. Basically, there was gunfire today in Tennessee this morning in 2 separate shootings at the U.S. Reserve Center and the Armed Forces Career Center located in a strip mall in Chattanooga. 3 people were injured, including 1 police officer, as we said, will make a full recovery. 5 people, however, as we said, are dead, including 4 Marines and the shooter. The situation is currently being treated as an act of domestic terrorism until officials gather more information. We now know the shooter was 41-year-old Mohammed Youssef Abdulaziz, a naturalized citizen living in Arizona, but originally from Kuwait. Early reports said he was 24. Now apparently reports are saying he's 41. Jihad Watch reports that there was an ISIS-related tweet sent out at 10:34 this morning around the time the shootings began. The tweet read, "Oh, American dogs, soon you will see the wonders. Hashtag Chattanooga, hashtag USA, hashtag ISIS." Congressman, I want to get your thoughts on these shootings. It appears to be, and we hate to speculate, but it seems to be a pattern. Lone wolf, perhaps activated by social media to act on his own without any formal training overseas.
Right, and this is one of the things that is causing so much concern across communities all across the country. And now it is showing up. You take somewhere like Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the heartland of the country, and people are having a normal summer day, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in the middle of a domestic terrorist attack. An attack on U.S. soil. And I think it is incredibly troublesome. People in Tennessee are quite disturbed by this, as you can imagine, and of course our hearts go out to the families, and we are very concerned about this. I think it's interesting that he stayed outside the center and shot in, never stepped foot, so he never stepped foot on federal soil. So, you know, it's going to be interesting where, you know, as you were saying, Joe, the information is coming in by the minute, things that we are hearing from Chattanooga and hearing from individuals, and just quite a bit of concern around the entire issue.
Rick.
Congressman, I'm curious, you obviously have probably pretty much the best sources for information. I'm very curious about this tweet. I've been trying to run it down. It does appear to be legit, that it did happen, and it's, you know, nobody tries harder than I do to be objective until we know, but you know what, when you see at Chattanooga, this can't be a coincidence.
That's right, and that it is an ISIS-related site or connected site, and just the element of uncertainty and the unsettling nature of this. I really think this is why when we look at polling and when we talk to constituents and talk to women, the number one thing that comes up is concern for national security. What is happening with ISIS? What is happening in the illegal alien front? What is happening to our men and women in uniform on our military bases and across the world? I've got Fort Campbell in my district.
Right.
That is primarily in Tennessee, and that's the 101st has been the most deployed unit in the U.S. military system. So the concerns continue to grow that surround this, and it is more unsettling. The more we know, the more unsettling it becomes.
Congresswoman, you know, it's being investigated.
Right.
If it has a connection to ISIS, that this person, potential terrorist, has been communicating in a substantive way with ISIS representatives, are you satisfied that President Obama has been strategic and aggressive enough in going after ISIS? Because this would mean now that ISIS has brought the terror home to the homeland.
Right, and of course, I am one of those that think we should have been more aggressive. I didn't like the way we came out of Iraq. I don't like the way we are approaching the drawdown in Afghanistan. I don't like the situation with Iran and the nuclear deal that is there. I think that's a bad deal for us. I'm concerned about what it's going to do in the Middle East writ large, if you will. And when our allies look at us and say, what are you doing? Where have you been? And our enemies are looking at this as an opportunity.
Right.
And feeling as if we're not going to be steadfast. That should cause concern for every single one of us.
Well, there are a couple of elements to this attack that Al-Qaeda, 9/11, they went in for huge, spectacular types of events. This is now shifting it to smaller, in your community, what we're so scared of being at a strip mall, being at a school. This is a different tactic. And secondly, that it may not necessarily be lone wolf if he's in contact with recruiters from ISIS.
Yeah, but I just want to throw this in because it troubles me a little bit when on a day like this, when we can all disagree a lot, but today we're all Americans. I mean, there were American Marines who were gunned down today. You know what? I'm not President Obama's biggest fan on foreign policy, although people know that I do support the president in most things. But you know what? No matter what he's done over there, it's not going to stop a terrorist in this country who's in touch with ISIL. Because ISIL's not going to be gone, even if he does a better job of trying to get rid of them. And I think he should. I haven't been happy with it either.
But this would make a direct connection between ISIS and terrorist attacks on American
But it wouldn't be
soil.
the first time. And you know what? No matter what President Obama did, or a Republican president, or any president, ISIL's going to be there until hopefully we succeed at getting rid of them. Sooner the better, of course. But we have, yes, we do. But we don't want to use these horrible events to say, see, this is your fault, President Obama.
I'm not blaming President Obama, but I am pointing out this would be an attack if he was connected to ISIS.
Right.
It would be an attack by ISIS, activated by ISIS on American soil.
Congressman, I want to get you back in as far as this suspect was not on any FBI terror list, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And in France, it was the same type of situation where, in other words, these aren't people that the FBI is watching necessarily. They're just among the shadows, and then they're being activated. I just wonder if we're making enough strides on social media in terms of combating this sort of propaganda.
And I think that is something that adds to the unsettled nature of this. And it also shows why we need to be diligent in giving our intel community what they need, and allow our military intel and our intelligence community to share that information and work with our allies in sharing this information. And of course, we've got lots of debates about the NSA and the gathering of information, but beefing up our intelligence so that they have the resources they need and are able to work in the virtual space to gather the information and follow some of these individuals that come onto their radar, if you will. that are participating with some of the mosque or some of the activation are going into these sites. And it is also one of the reasons why we want to make certain that the ISPs, the internet service providers, are doing their due diligence and watching out for some of these rogue sites and shadow sites. And you've got just
we'll
a
have to
plethora.
leave it there, unfortunately. But going to commercial, we'll talk about more of this in a moment. Back with more Daily Wrap. Don't go anywhere.
Attention, catheter patients on Medicare. I'm a professional cowboy, and I use catheters. Been cowboying for 25 years. I've broken 14 bones, had 2 concussions, and a punctured lung. I know pain, and I don't want any more of it, especially when I cath. Now, I use these new nearly painless catheters from Medical Direct Club. They hurt less. Compared to the old ones, these ain't nothing. Here's how it works. You call and you get a free catheter sample. I was just like you, wondering if I should call. Boy, I'm glad I did. Give yourself a break from pain and try these new catheters. You won't know unless you try them. Give them a call now. You have nothing to worry about. They bill Medicare and your insurance company. You pay nothing up front. You get your free nearly painless catheter sample sent right to your home.
Call 1-800-286-1768. That's 1-800-286-1768. Call now.
You sit, you slouch, you slump. Sitting for hours a day leads to poor posture and excruciating back pain. Introducing SmartBack, the breakthrough brace that instantly adjusts your posture to alleviate pressure on your back. Just look at the difference. One size fits all. Just pull the straps to tighten and feel the amazing difference instantly. The secret is the powerful lumbar support that aligns your body into the perfect posture, eliminating the slouching that often triggers back pain. Just wrap the padded brace around your back and anchor the cushion straps to your knees. SmartBack aligns your spine perfectly and improves your posture.
SmartBack aligns you into the perfect posture, helping to alleviate your back pain and helping you to feel better.
Wear it discreetly under your desk at the office. Wear it while watching TV, at a sporting event. Best of all, you feel the amazing difference immediately.
Wow, it's instant relief.
This feels just so good. You know, the support that you don't even realize.
I'm definitely buying it for all of my pregnant friends.
I've been trying a lot of back supports, but this one doesn't go around your body. So I can still breathe and feel support at the same time.
I've had horrible posture my whole life, and all of a sudden I'm sitting straight up, which is pretty amazing.
This is the first time I've ever had the proper posture in my life.
I'm trying to slouch, but I can't, and that's a good thing. You know, so it really keeps me very upright.
It's portable, so you can take it with you wherever you go. Other posture slings cost up to $80. Now you can enjoy relief by ordering your own SmartBack for the special TV price of just $19.99. But wait, call now and you can get a second SmartBack. Just pay a separate fee. We're so sure you'll love your SmartBack that we're offering a 60-day money-back guarantee, including the shipping costs. SmartBack can be yours for $19.99, but you have to call or click now.
To order SmartBack, call 1-800-465-2062 or go online to GetSmartBack.com. Call 1-800-465-2062 or go online to GetSmartBack.com. Order now.
And welcome back to Daily Wrap. I'm joined by Rick Unger, and filling out the panel, Congressman Blackburn and Amy Holmes. We are joined on the phone by famed attorney and Newsmax contributor Alan Dershowitz. Welcome to the show, Professor. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Your thoughts on what happened in Tennessee today?
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, ISIS clearly is determined to export terrorism to the United States, and the tragedy is, you know, the victims are 4 Marines. Of course, this is not the first time our Marines have been killed by Muslim terrorists. Iran, our new best friend, brought about the death of so many Marines in the Hezbollah bombing many, many years ago. So this is nothing new. Our soldiers, our brave men and women, are targets, obviously, and so are our civilians for Muslim terrorism.
Alan, it's Rick Unger. You know, I was listening to your answer, and there's something that I found fascinating in it. You know, I wonder if you could speak to the psyche of Americans these days. You are not just a lawyer. You're the lawyer of lawyers. You know, people like me, I look up to you as the lawyer of lawyers. And yet, you just right there accepted and assumed that this man, and you're probably right, by the way, but you assume that this man is a Muslim terrorist connected with ISIL, and that's still under investigation. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I suspect you're right, but does it say something about us when we go right to that without really knowing?
Well, let me tell you why not. He's dead, presumably. I suspect we can take that piece of news seriously, so he has no due process rights. He's not going to be put on trial. There's no presumption of innocence. This is simply now a historical event, and we can look at the evidence journalistically as we see it. Had he been captured and had he been brought in front of a judge and arraigned, I would have said something quite different.
I'm not speaking to his rights.
Because he's not the subject of a legal proceeding, I think we can talk like journalists.
No, I understand.
But evidence at this point points in that direction.
I'm not speaking to his rights. I'm speaking to, making conclusions based on incomplete data. That's what I'm really talking about.
Well, we always have incomplete data, and if we're wrong, we can change our mind. There's no major downside when nobody's on trial. Right. And I think we have to have a different approach when somebody is alive and awaiting trial, and when we're reporting on a past historical event. I think we can look at the best evidence as it now appears to point in that direction. I'd be happy to apologize if he turns out to be, a person of a different religion or somebody who didn't do it at all. But I doubt that that's going to be. I think we can premise our discussion on what we're seeing now, have that discussion, and then revisit it if it turns out to be wrong.
Right, Professor. It's unlikely that he was a Quaker named Mohammed born in Kuwait. My question to you, Professor, the Congresswoman, she brought this up in the earlier segment about surveillance and our intelligence agencies looking at social media, at Twitter, at Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. And a lot of civil libertarians get nervous about that. The big brother is watching what we're doing. But my question to you as a lawyer, as a professor, a lawyer of lawyers, is that isn't this public space? And certainly we have a national security interest, but I don't think you have privacy rights when you are tweeting threats about Chattanooga.
You're completely right. I tell my students all the time that what you put out there is not private, and therefore, as law students, you shouldn't be putting out thoughts or ideas or pictures that you don't want the world to see. As a lawyer, the first thing I do when I have a case is I hire somebody to go and find everything about my opponent or whoever is the witness on the other side, and I go to social networking, and there's nothing private about it. I don't intrude into people's private emails, but I do look at what they put out there publicly, and that's helped me win a couple of cases. And so I think we have to balance privacy interests. If you want it private, keep it private. If you want it to be sending it out there, or you want to send it just to friends, there are ways of sending it just to friends. But if you want everybody in the world to read it, then you can't say the government shouldn't read it.
Yeah, Professor, this is Marsha Blackburn. Tagging on to what Amy said, I thought it was really interesting. Before we started getting details, the FBI was already heading in there and taking charge of this investigation. That led me to think immediately, as we were getting those first reports, that they assumed or knew or feared something more than just a local occurrence.
I think that's right, but especially when our Marines are attacked, our soldiers, our sailors, our Marines, men and women who put their lives at risk for us, I think the FBI has a special function to perform. This is an attack on government people, and it's an attack on the United States of America. They didn't, as far as I can tell, he didn't pick these four people because he didn't like them personally. He picked them because of the uniform they were wearing, and that uniform is our uniform. It represents all of us, and the FBI certainly has an obligation to step in early and effectively when those kinds of crimes are committed.
Professor Dershowitz, the lawyer of lawyers, apparently your new title. We appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Just
Martha's
remember
Vineyard.
who gave you that name, Alan.
Right, Unger gave that to you. Credit where credit is due.
With appreciation. Thank you.
Sure. So, Congressman, what I've seen is a pattern, at least lately, that military people are being attacked. What I always thought would happen, and this is the nightmare of nightmares, and that's why I shop on Amazon now, I don't even go to malls anymore, is that civilians will be taken out in large numbers in a place like the Mall of America or something. Instead, what's the message you think that they're going after military facilities, and we only have about 30 seconds.
I think this ties back into what we have seen regularly from radical Islamic extremists. They go after what they feel like are our icons, our centers of capitalism, our centers of security, things of that nature. And because of that, I think that's why the American people are saying we have to be watchful everywhere we go.
Diligence.
Don't forget the Boston bombing.
Right, that's right. Good point, Amy. Anyway, more on the shootings on the Daily Wrap. Big night tonight. Stay tuned.
Rover loves to play, but he ends up filthy from the day. Bathing is a struggle, and what a mess! Introducing WoofWasher 360, the amazing new dog washing system that washes your dog in less than 1 minute, guaranteed. Watch. Just connect WoofWasher 360 to your hose, add soap, slip the hoop on your dog, and slide to turn on. The soap and water instantly mix, creating a sudsy solution that scrubs Rover clean from head to toe. There's 2 modes, one for suds and one for rinse. The secret is the 360-degree design. A ring of water jets gently spray your dog for 360 degrees of clean. Amazing! Harsh sprays scare your pet away. But WoofWasher 360's gentle spray feels like a soothing massage for your pet. He'll love to stay for the soapy spray that cleans him instantly. WoofWasher 360 works with any pet shampoo and washes hard-to-reach areas with 360 degrees of clean. The super spray washes behind his ears. It washes his back and even sprays his underbelly, even his tail. So easy and lightweight, anyone can use it. And so fun, every dog will love it.
When you wash a dog, there's parts you don't want to touch. Now with the WoofWasher, I don't have to use my hands at all.
I work at an animal rescue facility and we wash dozens of dogs. WoofWasher 360 is such a time saver.
The WoofWasher has 360 degrees of jets, which really gets the soap and water deep down into her fur.
Professional grooming can cost $50 or more per service. Now get WoofWasher 360, starting at $19.99. Available in 2 sizes for small and large dogs. But wait, as a bonus, you get the WoofWasher 360 microfiber quick drying mitt to dry your pup even faster. You get it all, so call or click now.
Call 1-800-905-3792 to get your WoofWasher 360. Call now or go to WoofWasher360.com. So call 1-800-905-3792. That's 1-800-905-3792. This offer is not in any store. Call now.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of up to 25 years. Why face your next emergency on an empty stomach? Request your free sample today at WiseFoodStorage.com.
You take all your business calls yourself. Sort of makes it hard to look professional or get anything done. By helping to expertly manage your incoming calls, eVoice provides you with a better way to connect. Regardless of whether you're a business of 1 or 100, we connect all incoming calls to eVoice instead of directly to you. So wherever you are, at home, the office, or on the road, you'll never miss a call. Get started with your 60-day free trial now at eVoice.com. Enter promo code TV60 and get the first 60 days free.
Hi, I'm Ron Paul. I spent 22 years in Congress, and today I'm back in Washington to issue an important warning. I believe a major financial crisis greater than the one from 2008 is fast approaching because our government has made a series of disastrous monetary decisions over the past few years. If I'm right, the way you live, work, travel, retire, and invest will change. Stocks and bonds will crash. The savings of millions could be wiped out. You can't rely on Washington to help you. Get the facts and take the necessary steps to protect yourself and your family. The best place to start is the free website below. You'll find a short presentation I've put together with one of the leading financial research firms in America. It details both the problem and the important steps to take. I strongly encourage you to check out the website below. I guarantee it will be worth your time.
Newsmax comes to Primetime TV. Join the conversation weeknights starting at 7 p.m. only on Newsmax TV.
We're building primetime around you.
Newsmax Prime with J.D. Hayworth tonight at 8 p.m.
Welcome back to Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by Rick Unger, Congressman Blackburn, and Amy Holmes, the chatty Cathy tonight. Just like a whole commercial. She gets paid by the word.
Right.
Anyway, before we get into our story that we've been talking about tonight, obviously the biggest story of the day, the shooting that happened in Chattanooga that left 4 Marines dead. We do want to tell you that there has been a verdict in the Aurora shooting trial. James Holmes found guilty of first-degree murder. He shot and killed 12 people in that theater nearly 3 years ago. It was at a midnight screening of a Batman, and 70 other people were injured, including in those that were killed, a woman that was carrying a baby. This man tried to at least say that he was mentally ill, tried to go down that route. Jury wasn't buying it. So first-degree murder. Rick, quick thoughts on this? I mean,
well,
not
we'll
much
have
really
more
to
to say later, but it'll be interesting to see the penalty phase now. I think there's a very good chance that this guy will face death. I'm not a big death penalty fan, but it's not like I'm going to lose any sleep over it.
Okay,
so.
Very good. So let's get back to our story. Once again, breaking this afternoon, 4 Marines dead after a Kuwaiti-born man thought to be living in Arizona opened fire on 2 military facilities in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This morning, one was in a strip mall. It was a recruitment center. Those Marines were able to crawl out the back. Only one was shot in the leg. He then drove 7 miles down to another military facility where unfortunately 4 Marines were shot dead, including the shooter who was taken out there by local law enforcement as well. Let's get back to our panel. In terms of everything that we know, guys, and Rick, I said this at the top of the show, unfortunately, I mean, how do you stop something like this? I mean, that's a recruitment center in a strip mall.
You don't.
You know, you
just don't.
You just don't.
You
I mean,
just don't.
there are ways to cut down on these things. And the FBI has been doing a great job in preventing these things from happening.
I find it astounding how well, you know, you talk about presidents, both administrations, ever since 9/11, the fact that we have these horrible things happen, but they're so, by comparison, so small. I think it's stunning what our government's done, and got to give the congressman here some credit for that too. It's phenomenal, and so you can't stop all of these things. It's terrible when it happens. It's terrible when anybody's hurt. But you keep trying. You keep trying. You have to keep trying. I'm with you on this, Amy. You know, I may be liberal on a lot of things, but when it comes to ISIL, I'm not particularly liberal. I'm a hawk, and you know that.
Well, and one of the
we
things
got to take out every single one of these. You know what's.
Yeah. And one of the things that plays into this, I think, is citizen participation.
Yeah.
And citizens who see something saying something.
Absolutely.
And being aware. And we know that plays into helping law enforcement and then our intelligence communities follow up on leads. So people need to participate.
Congressman, do you support, and believe it or not, I've heard Rick say he supports it, I support it, I would imagine Amy supports it, but you could confirm this for me. Boots on the ground, at least from a multinational perspective, in Iraq and possibly Syria to take out ISIS once and for all? Because we have the air power, we have the air superiority. I'm shocked that these guys have grown the way they have.
We have air superiority, and we also have the drone capability, you know, the virtual capability that is there. If it takes boots on the ground, then that is something that needs to be discussed. I think what we have to do, and what the president has to do, is to listen to the commanders. And when we surged up in Iraq, that was done because of listening to the commanders. And they're the ones that are going to know. I would never try to second guess them. They do not need 535 commanders in chief in Washington. And what the president needs to do is pay close attention to that. They're going to give him the best advice. You know, I was sorry that with the Iran deal, we had the command team saying, oh, there will never be anything with arms or ballistic missiles, and then the deal comes out and, you know, they've been proven wrong, or it wasn't the right advice.
I know you're not a fan of that deal, but what did you find the most troubling about it, of all the concessions that were made by the U.S.?
The arms embargo. Dealing with that, I feel as if it sets a time certain that Iran knows they can move forward. The lifting of sanctions before they do the compliance, which allows them to begin to build. All of that is of concern to me.
And how about the 4 American prisoners that weren't part of the negotiation?
I was stunned that it was not a part of the initial deal.
Do you think it was a matter of maybe saving political face? I think Rick made this point that you don't do it at the initial announcement of the negotiations, because the mullahs want to look good. Everybody wants to look good, and maybe a couple weeks down the line, slowly they're gone. You think that'll happen, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded always in these situations of the Cuban Missile Crisis and how we resolved that, and the secret deal that was made between Khrushchev and Kennedy to 6 months later take the missiles out of Turkey because we needed to save face. I think you're seeing exactly the same thing here. I sure hope I'm right. I want those guys to come home, but I think you'll see them coming home in the next few months.
Okay,
well, here we are on a day talking about a terrorist attack potentially on American soil, and we're lifting sanctions to put $100 billion in the coffers of the biggest state sponsor of terrorism.
All right. That'll have to be the last word on that. Congressman, thanks for coming by on a very busy day, we know, for you, so we appreciate getting your input.
Yeah.
Okay. More Daily Wrap in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Do you own mutual funds? You may be paying fees and costs of up to 5% and not even know it. Fisher Investments isn't a mutual fund, and we don't have hidden fees. Do you own an annuity? Your broker may have made a commission of 8% or more when he sold it to you. Are you sure he had your best interests in mind? At Fisher Investments, we're not brokers, and we don't earn commissions on trades or by selling you products. With our model, as your portfolio grows, we grow.
To learn more about the Fisher Investments difference, call the number on your screen now. We'll send you our free DVD, Investing Secrets for 2015, and our special report, The 8 Biggest Mistakes Investors Make. Plus, call us today and get a free 1-year subscription to Fisher Investments Stock Market Outlook with insights from our company founder and respected market forecaster, Ken Fisher. Be prepared in 2015. Call now 1-800-780-3800. 1-800-780-3800.
That was picked up and tossed like 6 feet into a wall, and within 45 days was blown up again.
It's a terrible feeling to know that you can't do anything to help your son.
America is blessed with the countless brave servicemen and women who have fought for our freedom. And many thousands of them have paid the price in body and spirit while serving our country. These heroes need your help. Far too many of them struggle to get the care and benefits they need. That's why DAV, Disabled American Veterans, was formed nearly 100 years ago to be there to help injured veterans when they return home. And that's why I'm asking you to donate only $19 a month so that you can be there for them too. DAV is simply a lifesaver for veterans. I should know. They were there for me when I returned home from Vietnam, badly burned and without my left arm and right hand. Your monthly donation of $19 today will help veterans like Bob Schilling.
The injuries I sustained were 2 grade 3 concussions, and it felt like the whole world just turned upside down.
As a mom, your heart just stops.
Bob's mother, Connie, was determined to help her son get the help he needed.
And they changed his life.
Having somebody like the DAV in your corner, it was just an amazing feeling.
DAV enables hundreds of thousands of veterans to obtain the financial and medical benefits they earn through their service to our country. And if you call or go online right now with your pledge of just $19 a month, we'll send you this DAV blanket as our gift. Please help make sure that after defending our freedom, these brave men and women and their loved ones get the full life they all deserve. Please donate now.
Hi, Linda. Looks like you've got a prescription to fill. The exact same drug that's $10 at this pharmacy is $150 at this one. GoodRx finds prices and discount coupons on every prescription. Just input the drug name and instantly find savings at virtually every pharmacy in America.
Here's my prescription, and I have a coupon from GoodRx.
Go to GoodRx.com and compare, print, and save for free. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Print your free coupon at GoodRx.com today.
And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Although Donald Trump is rising in various polls, a Gallup poll shows that only 41% of Republicans considered Donald a serious candidate. That would be a problem for Trump, right, Amy?
It would seem to be, and it's also a problem that he's losing a lot of business over this presidential candidacy of his, with all of his off the cuff, you might say, loose cannon remarks. But of course, we also know that he's rising in the polls, and that has other candidates getting nervous. And he sucks the oxygen out of the room, and he, sort of pushes out these other candidates who want to get their message out, get their names out. But I think the Trump mania has a short shelf span.
Really? So you think it'll rise quickly and fall just as quickly, Rick Unger?
999, baby.
Oh, Herman
Cain.
Cain.
Oh, there you are.
Herman
yes.
Cain.
That's a very good point.
Right. But you see these candidates who have we saw this in 2012, the candidates have the boomlets and all the press is around them, and then it's the next week and it's the next one, and with 17 Republicans running for the nomination?
I will give him credit for this. I do think he can keep it going longer than Herman Cain did.
Yes.
I do.
Well, he's more charismatic.
He's
the
very
media is more attracted to him.
at attracting. I mean, this is one thing that has impressed me. He has gotten more free media than any candidate I can ever recall. And that's saying something.
All networks, too, he does, by the way. He's on MSNBC,
he's everywhere.
on CNN, he's on
everywhere.
Fox, and they'll book him in a heartbeat. We'll take him, of course. As it stands right now, if Trump and Hillary were nominees for president, Hillary would beat Trump by, I guess, 17 points. But at the Daily Wrap, we like to hit the streets to find out what everyday Americans think. Our own Rick Unger asked New Yorkers who they would vote for in a general election, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
Once again, we've taken to the streets of New York City to ask the question that all Americans have first and foremost on their minds. If the election were tomorrow, would you vote for Hillary Clinton or would you vote for Donald Trump? Here's some of the answers that we got. If the election were held tomorrow,
yes,
and Donald Trump were the nominee of the Republican Party, and Hillary Clinton was the nominee of the Democratic Party, who would you vote for?
Oh, Hillary.
Hillary.
Donald Trump.
You would? Okay, and tell me why.
Just because I've just been a follower of hers longer than I've been following Hillary, and he just kind of makes more sense politically.
It's time. It's time for her.
Meaning?
For a woman to be president.
I don't think Donald Trump has any relevant experience, and I would love to see a female be president.
Hillary Clinton for the Democrats and Donald Trump for the Republicans. Who would you vote for?
I'm thinking Donald Trump.
Okay, and tell us why.
Because he seems very straightforward and he's not messing around.
Hillary Clinton.
You vote for Hillary. And what about you?
I will also for Hillary Clinton.
Do you know much about Donald Trump?
Not much, except that he owns a lot of property around every place in United States. A few of his remarks about the Mexican people. So I think I took that in somewhat negative about his personality.
Well, I think that his views on Mexico and our relationship with them is just a little bit misunderstood. I think he's getting a bad rap just because of it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. And I think because of how he said what he said, he's getting a bad rap. But I completely support his views.
Trump!
What did you say? Oh, I thought I heard a Hillary here. There was dissent. Okay, guys, thanks. That was great. Thanks very much.
So I counted, Rick, and it looked like that was 5 on 5.
You know, when the piece was cut, though, they did not address. I asked them all a much more important. I asked them who they thought could bench press more weight, Hillary or the Donald. And Hillary won, by the way.
I slipped Rick a question.
You did.
Who colors
I
their
asked a
hair
few of that,
more?
too.
Who colors their hair more, Amy Holmes?
Donald Trump or Hillary? That is a great
Tough
question. That
isn't
is
it?
a tough question.
I think we have to have that polled.
Right.
You think so?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Until the very end, what we also saw was a gender divide. The women saying they wanted to vote for Hillary and the men going for Donald Trump.
Do you think
what did you find?
I think you have that right. I mean, I was actually a little bit surprised that the women who were supporting Hillary, I'd say 80% of them, and when I'd say why, they'd say, well, it's time for a woman in the White House. Yeah.
As a woman, does it disappoint you when you study the issues and you come to an educated conclusion as to who you're going to vote for? And then there's some people who have the same exact voting right. In other words, your vote is one and their vote is one. They're just like, yeah, I'd just like to see a woman in the White House. What do you know about her? I don't care. I just want to check off a box and see history.
You know, it doesn't really bother me. I think every person can vote for whatever reasons they like, even if they throw a dart at the board. But I do actually oppose making voting easier. I think you should have to go through some hurdles to learn about the candidates, learn about the issues, and make a proactive decision to get to the polling booth.
One other interesting statistic to your question, the reason most people said they didn't like Hillary, she's not trustworthy.
Not trustworthy.
Right,
So that poll actually extended to your man and women on the street that we talked about. Got to really rename those packages. Anyway, thank you, Rick. Great job. Is Donald Trump your candidate? Go to newsmaxpolls.com. That's newsmaxpolls.com and cast your vote. Coming up next, we'll talk about how the Donald's fellow GOP candidates feel about him. Probably all sunshine and flowers, I would think. This is the Daily Wrap. Do not go anywhere.
This is an important medical announcement for those prescribed the prescription blood thinner medication Xarelto. If you or a loved one has been hospitalized or died from serious internal bleeding, including bleeding of the brain or gastrointestinal system after taking Xarelto, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call Xarelto Help Now for a free confidential consultation. Time may be limited to file a claim, so don't delay. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. Xarelto has been linked to an increased risk of severe internal bleeding, hemorrhaging, stroke, heart attack, and even death. If you or a loved one experience severe internal bleeding, or if a loved one has died as a result of taking Xarelto, call Xarelto Help Now. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. Get the help you deserve. You won't pay a thing until your case is settled. Call Xarelto Help Now today.
Please call 800-390-0510. That is 800-390-0510.
No one can truly know what it feels like to be an abused animal, to suffer in silence, to wonder when the hurting will stop. We will never understand their pain, but we can know how it feels to help them. For only 60 cents a day, you can show them what it feels like to receive their first loving embrace, nourishing food, and a warm, safe bed at night. Visit this website or call this number with your $18 monthly gift to help the animals who are waiting to be rescued. Go online or call in the next 10 minutes and we'll send you the photo of an animal from our shelter and a free ASPCA t-shirt. The situation is urgent for so many animals who continue to suffer. And every one of them deserves to know what kindness and love feel like. Please show them that you do hear their cries for help. You do understand their sadness, and you will help them. Go online or call now.
Hey, I'm Ty Pennington. You know, buying a home is exciting. Getting a home loan? Not so much. What do you hate about getting a mortgage?
The paperwork.
All the paperwork.
I had to fax a stack. It was like this big.
I hate faxing things. I don't even own a fax machine.
Long phone calls.
Talking to X and Y and Z.
There has to be a better way to get a loan. Well, now there is. Guaranteed Rate has just introduced the world's first digital mortgage. With Guaranteed Rate's digital mortgage, you can choose your own loan type and rate. Order your appraisal. Get your free credit scores. Digitally sign and securely upload your loan documents. Get a real loan approval and save money. And you can do it all online, anytime, anywhere. What are you waiting for? Save time and money right now with the world's first digital mortgage only from Guaranteed Rate. Call 1-844-GR-LOANS or visit grloans.com today.
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Let's hear from some of you, shall we? We have some viewer comments, and if you have some, please go to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let your voice be heard. Like this guy, Alvin Gleaton, who loves his exclamation points. He says, and this is in reaction to the Tennessee shootings, the only way is to arm everybody, 2 exclamation points. Only a good man with a gun can stop a bad man with a gun, 4 exclamation points. If everybody is armed, then a terrorist can't kill people like shooting fish in a barrel. Remember what happened in the Houston terror attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation points. Then he goes to caps. Shooters usually look for gun-free zones, 3 exclamation points. They should be outlawed, 2 exclamation points. Okay, Amy, exclamation points aside, does Alvin have a point?
Well, I don't know necessarily that that recruiting center was unarmed. Do you think if it was a military facility?
Not a lot of Marines who are unarmed.
Right, exactly. But I think that there is a larger point when it comes to foreign policy, that President Obama recently said that you can't fight ideology with guns. Well, I think that is a fundamental misunderstanding of ISIS. It is not merely an ideology. It's not people just hashtag jihad. We're talking about an organization that is seizing land, seizing territory, seizing resources, oil resources, enslaving people. This is an actual political movement.
Can I sum that up for you?
Not just jihad.
Because we agree on that. Can I sum this up for you? I think they are more criminal organization than they are Muslim jihad. I think that they are trying to reenact the mafia, and that's what they're all about. They're about the money. They are about
money, land, and they use religion as an excuse to obtain it.
That's one analysis, but I also think they are true believers. And they are imposing Sharia both for power and also out of their religious conviction.
I have a feeling they're breaking some Quran rules along the way.
Yeah, I do too.
That's just me, but I get it.
You have actually seen that with the terrorists. If you remember 9/11, going down to a strip club and getting a lap dance before going off.
But these guys are
and in Jersey, no less.
Trust
me, they're not quality.
These guys are breaking a lot of Quran rules, and it's because they are about the money. We talked about this in Palmyra, where there was all this fear about them destroying all of these sacred artifacts, and I said, no, they're not going to destroy them. They're going to sell them.
They're stealing them and selling them on the black market.
That fuels the army and fuels the
But we're not going to defeat ISIS with hashtags. Okay.
Right, hashtag diplomacy, we're all in agreement on that. Anyway, Donald Trump continues to rise in the polls and is creating a bit of trouble for other candidates vying for cash and, more importantly, a coveted spot in the first debate on August 6th, which is limited to 10 of 74 GOP candidates. For example, Senator Lindsey Graham, who should have some serious credibility, currently will not have high enough poll numbers to be able to participate in the Fox debate. Graham, not happy about it.
Brad Pitt would be in the debate in August. Anybody with any celebrity would be in the debate. I think this is a dumb way to weed out the field. I don't mind weeding out the field over time, but a national poll tests celebrity, big states have an advantage versus small states people run before, have an advantage over those who haven't. It's July, for God's sakes. So a national poll is a lousy way, in my view, to determine who should be on the stage, and I, quite frankly, resent it.
I think Pitt would be interesting in the debate, but that's just me. Rick Perry is not high enough in the polls to make the debate, so his super PAC is launching a $1 million national ad campaign in order to boost his chance to be included. John Kasich, where the debate will be held in his home state of Ohio, and Carly Fiorina, who has campaigned, we all agree on the panel, quite effectively, also not making the cut right now. Obviously, Graham is angry that Trump and other candidates are spending a lot of money to boost their poll ratings to make it into the debate. Is it just plain old competition, or is Trump a distraction that will force out other possibly more qualified presidential candidates? Rick Unger.
Well, first of all, Trump is spending no money so far. He's doing it all because he doesn't have to.
He's losing money, actually.
And here's something for Lindsey Graham to think about. Maybe if you were not on television 75 times a day, every day, all week long, you'd have a case to make. But the fact of the matter is, we all know what you think because we can't turn on our television sets without seeing you. He gives new meaning to the phrase overexposed, and that's hurting Lindsey Graham.
Interesting.
I would love to see Lindsey Graham up on that stage as a very knowledgeable, credible United States senator on these issues, and by the way, a great talker. Lindsey Graham, I don't know if you remember when he was on the House side and the presidential impeachment, and he was on TV all the time. This is a guy with great aphorisms, witticisms. He understands the issue. A very clever, bright guy who I think would be able to underline and underscore the issues of the day.
So shouldn't there just be 2 debates, and you just put 16 names in a hat, and 8 go one night and 8 go the other, and we could sample
with
that way.
the
balls,
and
NBA
exactly.
lottery.
Yeah, the lottery system.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
For those who didn't see it, I mean, what do you think about that, though? If you're the network that's holding that debate, you get twice the ratings, which is great. But then everybody gets to see these folks. Now you could say, well, there is another debate, but it's on in the middle of the afternoon. Not a lot of people will see it. So
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But I'll tell you what, Lindsey Graham is the wrong person to be crying the blues over it. He is so overexposed. I mean, he and John McCain, it's silly.
Yep, he's not even getting 1%, which is remarkable.
I mean, we do this for a living, and he's on TV way more than us.
That's true. That's a hard thing to do.
He's a United States Senator.
Yes. Anyway, the
What
brother
about the
of
rest
the
of
woman shot and killed an undocumented immigrant in San Francisco is finally speaking out. We'll tell you what he had to say next. Do not go anywhere.
Attention homeowners. Quicken Loans has some very important information regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. We've told you about HARP in the past, and we're happy to report that nearly 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this fantastic money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. Quicken Loans is here to help you save your money. Why Quicken Loans? The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. We'll work with you to understand your specific circumstances and strive to find the financial solution that's best for you. Then we'll guide you through each step of the mortgage refinance process to make sure that it's both simple and easy. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And this year, for the first time, they've also ranked us highest in the nation in mortgage servicing. If you're not familiar with HARP, it's a U.S. government program designed specifically for homeowners who have little or no equity. A great feature of the HARP program is that most HARP refinance loans do not require an appraisal, and there are fewer income verification requirements. That makes it simpler, easier, and even faster. And even if you've been denied for a HARP loan in the past, new guidelines mean that you now may be eligible. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. And we'll do all we can to help you save money on your mortgage. It's simple and easy. So find out if you're eligible to take advantage of today's incredibly low interest rates and start saving money every month on your mortgage. Call Quicken Loans today or go to QuickenLoans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Children are dying every day from hunger and sickness. Innocent children, just like this one. These children are facing death right now. But with your support and just 50 cents a day, we can save them. Please go online or call this number and join the U.S. Fund for UNICEF for only $15 a month. It's just 50 cents a day, and you'll deliver emergency medical care, vaccines, and life-saving nutrition to the children who could die without it. It's just 50 cents a day, but it'll mean the difference between life and death for a child waiting for help right now.
Coming for to care.
Reach out to that child so they never have to look into the face of death again. Go online or pick up the phone now.
Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, Rubio, Carly. It's a crowded race, but who can really defeat Hillary? Dick Morris looks at the polls and reveals the surprising winner. Watch Dick Morris on Newsmax TV tonight.
Welcome back to the Daily Wrap. Well, before we jump back in, let's jump on board, shall we? Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silver Sea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. Amy's entered 74 times already. Obviously, a luxury cruise on the Silver Wind is a trip of a lifetime. To enter, however, you need to enter our sweepstakes. Visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes to enter. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes.
How long are you keeping this open? I mean,
until you win.
As long as it takes.
Until you win.
Exactly. So please enter again at your whim, and you'll be fine. We'll
They
make
won't
sure
let me sing the Love Boat theme behind.
Yeah,
I
Rick
keep
wants to
doing
sing
it. I'm
the
sitting here going,
Love.
and they won't let me. Oh, you can sing. I can't.
A little bit.
Rick, the Gavin McLeod of the Daily Wrap. Anyway, the brother of the young woman shot and killed in San Francisco earlier this month by an undocumented Mexican immigrant is now speaking out. Here is Brad Steinle speaking to CNN's Anderson Cooper about the way his sister has been used as political fodder.
Can you talk a little bit more about who's reached out? Because I mean, obviously, you know, Donald Trump is somebody who was talking about your sister early on. I'm wondering if he ever reached out or if his campaign did, and what your thoughts were about him, about the way he talked about what happened to your sister.
You hear, you know, Donald Trump talks about Kate Steinle like he knows her. I've never heard a word from his campaign manager, never heard a word from him. It's disconcerting, and you know, I don't want to be affiliated with somebody that doesn't have the common courtesy to reach out and ask about Kate and ask about our political views and what we want.
Do you feel like Donald Trump is using your sister?
In a way, yes. Sensationalizing it is not the route we would like to go. You know, if you're gonna use somebody's name and you're gonna sensationalize the death of a beautiful young lady, maybe you should call and talk to the family first and see what their view.
So what do you make of Brad Steinle's comments? Amy Holmes.
I think it's fair, and Donald Trump is a national figure. He is running for national office. He should have contacted the family. But I also think that, yes, we can talk about the murder of Catherine Steinle. A murder is a crime against the state as well, and as a community, we can look at the elements that led to this, and if there are policy implications, which in this case, I think there are.
Yeah, and I don't think he was in any way objecting to people talking about it. I think that his point was best made in his very last sentence, which is the classy thing to do, and as you know, that's not a word I often attach to Donald Trump. The classy thing to do is to call them first, express his condolence, and say, look, I'm going to talk about this because I think it's important. Right. Are you okay with that? Will that hurt you? Will is that all right? And that would have been the right way to handle it.
That's the Twitter culture we live in now.
Yeah.
But you know
that's how we first communicated about this.
You know who else has not mentioned her nor contacted the family?
Didn't say the president.
President Obama.
But he hasn't tried to use it to.
No, and there are a lot of folks who, to use a President Obama favorite term, a lot of folks who are very frustrated with that because it does have national policy implications when it comes to immigration.
Picking and choosing his victims to reach out to has been the criticism, no doubt. So what are your thoughts on sanctuary cities? Well, that's our next yay or nay question, which is a pretty quick one. We usually set it up a little bit more, but I have a feeling I know your answer. You're probably against them. I mean, there are dozens. I didn't even know that many existed before the story came out.
Yeah, over 200. Yeah,
200. Mm-hmm.
Right, all across the country. Look, my position on this is just as in the Supreme Court same-sex marriage ruling. All 50 states need to abide by it. As with immigration law, all 50 states and all cities need to abide by it.
Rick?
Why, you're becoming a Democrat. You want to attach everything to all Works for me. Now, look, I mean, it's a it's a much more complicated question than it appears. I understand people who have a problem with it. There are some instances where I do too. The problem is there are some police forces who have made a decent case that they do better in controlling crime in their cities with this rule. But it is a problem, and it does deserve national attention.
Okay. Well, we thank you guys tonight. Obviously, a busy night, lots of changing stories, and we appreciate you coming on, Amy. Always good to see you again. I'm Joe Concha on behalf of Rick Unger and the panel. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Steve Malzberg Show is next. That's its new time at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be back here live, 6 p.m. Eastern in New York for the Daily Wrap. More on the Chattanooga shootings tomorrow night as well. Stay tuned.